Я сам себе, я. Ну туда. Видишь?
Поддаться искушению, а не бояться неизведанного – это кватро. Оставить след, а не идти по стопам – это кватро. Уверенно поворачивать, но не сворачивать – это кватро. Испытайте новые эмоции.
This is a lesson in how to play octaves with freedom and ease and without wearing yourself out. So, there are at least 5 ingredients in the choreography of octaves which will absolutely liberate your playing. Let's take a look. When you play an octave, let's say F to F, no, of course you're using your thumb and your pinky, but this is crucial. You want to think. You want to orient your mind physically, visuospatially. You want to orient it towards your thumb for at least 2 reasons. One is your thumb, more often than not, serves as a very important pivot point for other musical activity. But even more importantly, your thumb, as opposed to your pinky, is more centrally located in your field of vision, right? And so it's so much easier to direct your visual attention towards what's right in front of you, right? Not what is out to the extreme left or the extreme right. Right, so let's play a few different octaves here, right? Let's play here, here. Now you see what's going on? As we get out farther and farther from our field of view, in fact, look, I can go off the screen here. Notice how much easier it is to direct your attention to what's going on with your thumb, rather than your pinky or rather than your hand as a whole. Component number 2 is this. Let your wrist be fluid. I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but this is really important, right? And I'm talking about 2 degrees of
Goodness.
Hello everyone. In the last of this current series of Feuchtwanger piano exercises, we are focusing on one of Peter's favourites, parachute. The hand follows the introduction of notes to form a chord, and in the process, the wrist is extended upwards so that it can fall naturally downwards onto the final chord, very much like the canopy of a parachute. The wrist is extended upwards so that it can fall naturally downwards onto the final chord, very much like the canopy of a parachute. In Peter's own words, the exercise teaches us how to play chords without preparing. In addition to this, each finger develops the ability to individually colour the chord. Furthermore, this exercise is helpful for players who usually stretch and tense their hands before playing a chord. One effect of this exercise is that in the course of time, the hand becomes more soft, elastic, and smooth. I find playing through this very tranquil exercise is similar to a yoga practice or a meditation. The inner ear is also developed by listening to the harmonics created by the softness of the arm weight and the submission to natural gravity. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos, and as always, enjoy the discovery.
I'm Paul. Some viewers requested I sight read a piece on video, which I did recently, and that video prompted a few new requests to continue making similar videos. It seems sight reading is a subject many of you are curious about. This video is not a tutorial, it's a sight reading demonstration. The sight reading tutorial will follow one. I recently received a new composition from our friend Frederick Viner. Fred's been sharing his compositions with me over the years, so when I saw a new message from him with attachments, I knew I was in for a treat. I download most sheet music these days from the INSLP music library, which I take to a local printing shop. Here's Fred's 2-page score, which I've taped together and clipped to a board as I practice piano by Open Doors. When we sight read the Baroque and classical composers, it helps if we have a reasonable grasp of key signatures, scales and broken chords and so on. Fred is a contemporary composer, so his harmonies can have new and surprising colours, so best not to take anything for granted in terms of accidentals and expect the unexpected. So here's my first reading of Something She'd Like by Fred Viner. As my first sight reading video was a fairly slow piece, it prompted a few requests for something faster, preferably Bach. I've already had a go at the 48 and the Gubaev variations, and in my young days the French and English suites, staccatos, partitas and so on. So although it's been many years, if I picked one of them it wouldn't be strictly sight reading. But I found a Bach album, can't remember anything about, the pieces aren't familiar at all, so I'll sight read something from this book. I chose a fuguetta. This looks as though it could be a fast piece, and I haven't seen it before. If you play Bach's music often, you get an idea of the speed you can fairly expect yourself to sight read glancing at the score. It has 2 pages, 12/8 time, D major. I notice G sharps here and there, and a scale in D major, no additional accidentals, so can choose fingers accordingly. Time glancing at the score. It has 2 pages, 12/8 time, D major. I notice G sharps here and there, and the scale in D major, no additional accidentals, so can choose fingers accordingly when it comes along. I'll sight read the piece now and see what happens. So, if you'd like to hear both those pieces after a little practice, I've linked to the videos in the description. Thanks for watching.
Musimy przejść już do następnej kandydatki, naszej Daphne Gultoprak.
Кстати, с чесноком все такое съедобное становится сразу.
Yeah, from Ireland, z Irlandii, 12 lat, 12 years old, okay. And what are you going to play?
I'm going to play Nocturne in A major by Field.
By Field, okay, thank you very much, so welcome.
Чувак, не чувак, все нормально.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Wow. Yeah, that was really, really beautiful. Nice touch. Yeah, especially, you know, the super soft places. It's really good. It's not so much to say, you know, because you play really beautiful. When it comes back, you know, the coda. This can be more, with a slightly more rubato. You can even play a little bit softer. Yes. And now the coda. No, I need more on this. Here, don't play you know. No, more on the now Tita.
Не знаю.
Yeah, this note maybe can be a little bit more poetic. You know, we're in Poland. We need to make a little bit sounds more Chopin, you know. I need a little bit of fog. Yeah, try that. Yeah, something like that. But you can make a little bit more magical, you know. Yeah, and then here I need a little bit more painful. Yeah, this is the only place I think you can make a little bit more, you know, dark clouds, you know. Yeah, so. No, more. Yeah, the ta da 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 da. Oh, I know what's going on. I think you need to bring a little bit more of the bass. Hold on. Yeah. That's it. Beautiful.
So, naszym następnym kandydatem
This video is going to be demonstrating the different parts of a grand piano action. Here I've got a grand piano action model, and it's going to be demonstrating the different parts of a grand piano action so you can understand it better when you're working on it. We're going to start here with the key bed. This part is built into the key, or into the grand piano frame, and that's what the whole everything sets on the grand piano action. Here we've got the key bed, and that's what the keys and the action are setting on. Here we have the front rail. And inside the front rail are some pins. You can see there's pins going here into the sharps and the white keys that go down into the front rail and up into the key. Now, in the bottom of the key, in the front of each key, there's a hole, and as you can see, there's red felt that lines that hole that the front rail pin goes into, and those need to be replaced from time to time. This right here is the front rail felt punching, and then underneath there you'd have paper or cardboard punchings to determine how far down the key will go when it's pressed. This here, of course, is the key when it's pressed. This here, of course, is the key. And then on top is a plastic, usually plastic or possibly ivory key top. This part here is the key front. And of course, here we've got a sharp. This part, usually plastic or possibly ivory key.
Ivory. Ivory.
Elfenbein. Ivoire.
Ты догонял меня, а? Ну чё делать, тебя нет.
Key top. This part here is the key front. Of course, here we've got a sharp. Going further down the key, we've got a sharp.
Не, это другое там, ты помнишь? Просто я что-то помню другое там. Что? Charcoal. Charcoal.
Going further down the key, you have the balance rail. And as you can see up here, this is the top of a pin that goes down through the key into the, you have the balance rail. And as you can see up here, this is the top of a pin that goes down through the key into.
Что, серьезно, что ли? Слоновая кость? Прям реально слоновая кость? Честно.
This part here is the key front. Of course, here we've got a sharp. Going further down the key, you have the balance rail. And as you can see up here, this is the top of a pin that goes down through the key into the balance rail. So that's the balance rail pin. And then as you can see up here, there's more felt that lines that hole. And that's more key bushing felt. And then this part right here, as you can see, is a separate piece from the key. That's the key button. Down here underneath, and here we've got a balance rail felt, and of course balance rail punchings. The balance rail paper or cardboard punchings will adjust how high or how low the key is. Okay, so when you're going to level out the keys so that all of these are at the same height, you adjust that by putting more or less paper or cardboard punchings underneath the key on the balance rail pin. As we go further back, okay, you can see there's this thing called a whippin. Now you can't see it very well because this is an action bracket. Called a whippin. Now you can't see it very well because this is an action bracket. But I've got a separate piece here that I can show you. This is a whippin, and of course this would be similar to the one that's in there. Just a little bit different. This one's a little different shape because it's a composite rather than wood. Now the different parts of this whippin. Here we have the jack. This is the whippin heel. This is the whip-in flange. This here is the repetition lever. This is the repetition lever spring. This is the jack stop felt. And then if we go over here, you can see
strings get thinner as you move up the piano. While technically graded from top to bottom, graded soft touch is not a weighted action, so the touch of each key is lighter than that of a real piano. The various levels of resistance across the keyboard are due to the different thicknesses in the padding that push the keys back up. In addition to the lack of any metal hammers, this contributes to the lower overall weight of GST instruments and their exceptional portability. Stepping up, the graded hammer standard action not only emulates the scaled resistance of an acoustic piano, but each key has different sized hammers to achieve the gradation. Officially an entry-level feature, the GHS action is perfect for beginner pianists in need of a touch that builds proper finger technique during practice. So when the time comes to play on a real grand piano at school, with friends, or at their teacher's studio, they'll feel right at home. A step up from the GHS action, graded hammer effect has a quieter mechanism so less key noise is heard by people nearby who aren't wearing headphones. But that's just the beginning. GHE also has a greater level of sensitivity that's more responsive for playing rapid, technically advanced pieces of music. In other words, pianos with the graded hammer effect action are appropriate for pianists of all abilities, from their first lesson to their 10th solo recital. Acoustic use. Keyboard. Being smaller in the upper registers emulates the scaled resistance of a step up from the graded hammer standard advanced music. In other words, GHE is appropriate for pianists of all ability. Listen to your first solo recital.
the part that the jack tender hits is called the let-off button.
Ты тупо играть просто не умеешь, сколько ты не смотри, херню все равно ты не научишься ничего, конечно. Что больно,
class in the online piano and the online violin tutor. So if you thought that little piece was impressive and you want to learn how to do it, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. It's super duper, super simple. It really just requires the most basic of skills, but the key to making it sound impressive is the speed. But once you know how
How's it going, guys? Julian Bradley here with another jazz piano tutorial. Today I'm going to talk to you about the cycle of fifths, also known as the circle of fifths, and I'm really going to explain everything that I think you need to know about it. I'm going to start out very basically because I really want to cover everything, but by the end of the video we're going to get into some quite advanced things and how you can use it in jazz and show you some really interesting jazz piano variations. So let's jump straight in. First of all, this is how a cycle of fifths sounds. It's a very strong chord progression. It originates in classical music, and basically anytime you resolve a chord down a fifth, that's a very strong resolution for a chord, so it's always moving somewhere. So first of all, there are two kinds of cycle of fifths. First of all, there's a perfect cycle of fifths, which is where you go down a perfect fifth every time. And when you do that, it will take you through all 12 notes on the keyboard. So if I start at C, so it's a long progression. 12 chords is a long time, and for that reason the perfect cycle of fifths is hardly ever used in music. It's it's interesting to know about, but actually anytime you hear a cycle of fifths, it will usually be the other type of cycle of fifths, which is called a diatonic cycle of fifths. First of all, the term diatonic just means major or minor, so it refers to pieces of music that are in the major or minor scale. And that's most of popular music, most of classical music up until the 20th century. Most music was being written in major or minor scales. So for a diatonic cycle of fifths, you go down a fifth each time, but you keep it within the scale that you're in. So if it's a major scale or a minor scale, say we're in C minor, we'll start going down fifths within the scale. So let's go down a fifth within the scale. F minor, B flat major, E flat major, all perfect fifths so far. So here we have an A flat major, and if we were to go down a perfect fifth, we would get D flat major, but that's not in the key of C minor. And to play a D flat major would be a perfect cycle of fifths. But here we're talking about a diatonic cycle of fifths, so we're going to keep it in the scale, count down 5 notes within the scale. Gives us a D diminished. And then count down a fifth from D, gives us another perfect fifth to G, eventually resolving to C minor. So here's how the diatonic cycle of fifths sounds. So in a diatonic cycle of fifths in classical music, the character of the chord, whether it's major or minor, is dictated by the key, and all you do is count up in thirds to build a chord, and whatever notes are in that scale will dictate whether it's a major or minor chord. So in C minor, the one chord is going to be a minor chord. Now if we go to F and build a chord within the scale of C minor, will give us a flat 3 and a 5, so it will dictate that it's an F minor chord. And now let's build a triad off the B flat. What kind of third do you have in the scale of C minor? You'll have a natural D and a natural F, so you get a B flat major chord, then an E flat. Building off D, what do we get? B and F for the third, then up another third, we would have an A flat. So that's a D.
This video is going to be demonstrating the different parts of. I've got a separate piece here that I'll
The audience for this gala occasion has spilled over onto the stage. Their seats and any size.
You know, I don't like to start with long things.
The
two Scarlatti sonatas with which on number 22 and the sonata in A major, Longo number 345.